I want to ask you about a big news item this week, and that is the issue of the don't ask, don't tell policy in the military. The president, speaking on Thursday at an MTV town hall, said this.
I have said very clearly, including in a State of the Union address, that I'm against don't ask, don't tell, and that we're going to end this policy.
And yet, on that very day, the President's Justice Department filed an appeal to halt a judge's ruling that would have struck down don't ask, don't tell. So if the president wants the law to go away, if he wants the ban to go away, why is he still supporting the law in the courts?
Well, let's be clear. The president believes the law is discriminatory, unjust, and quite frankly, you have men and women who are willing to lay down their life for this country. Those people ought to be able to serve. The law that was struck down that the president opposes, we've got a process. One, the House has passed repeal, and we hope the Senate takes up that repeal quickly.
But what if the Senate does? Is there faith in the Senate that's misplaced? What does the president do if the Senate doesn't act?
Well, we have a process in place right now to work with the Pentagon for an orderly and disciplined transition from the law that we have now to an era that don't ask, don't tell doesn't exist. And I will say this, David, don't ask, don't tell will end under this president. The courts have decided, the legislature is beginning to decide, and the president is firmly in the place of removing don't ask, don't tell.
But does he believe it's unconstitutional?
You know, David, he thinks it's discriminatory and it's unjust, and most of all, it harms our national security.
We know his position, though, but if you keep defending it in the courts, how does it end? You can pronounce it dead, but how does it end if you keep backing it in the courts?
It ends with a vote in Congress. It's a law, and the most durable solution is to repeal that law. That's what the president asked the House to do, and they did. That's what the president. I think there's enough votes to do it in the Senate, but again, we have to get through Republican filibuster. It harms our national security. It's discriminatory. It's time for it to end. And I will say this, David, again, this president will end don't ask, don't tell. And I think the courts, you're seeing from the courts that they're deciding that don't ask, don't tell, quite frankly, it's time for it to end, and that time is coming very soon.